Hola y bienvenidos a Generación Latina. This is Carolina, your host here today, and I am super thrilled of presenting part 2 of our Wellness, Wellbeing show series. And with us today we have a young Latino from the area. He's quite the entrepreneur, quite the student, quite the exercise junkie, I guess you could call him. And he's going to tell us a lot about his transformation, his own personal journey to losing a lot of weight, but also just transforming his entire lifestyle. These are just great tips that he has for us. We're actually going to see him actually demonstrate some of this for us as well. But more importantly, I want us to really think about what kind of habits do we have right now that may seem insignificant, but long term could impact our health, the length of our life. So with us, Marcos Moya, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Carolina.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Just who are you?
Marcos Moya. I'm originally from El Salvador. I am currently 23 years old. I'm a graduate of Montgomery College, and now I'm a junior at the University of Maryland studying business.
Awesome. So what got you, actually before what got you into exercising, you were overweight, I guess.
215 pounds, around so.
A little bit, right? So tell me, what was that like for you to be overweight? How did you feel? How did you see yourself? How did you think others saw you?
Well, ever since I was little, I've always been a little bit overweight. I remember when I was little, people actually used to pick on me because I had big cheeks, so people used to pick on me because I had big cheeks. But I've always been that kind of person who's heavy. Okay, there were periods of time when I lost weight because I grew, and then I gained it back. And it didn't help the fact that in Salvadorian family, Hispanic families, as a fact, we just serve a lot of food in the morning. I am accustomed to eat steak and chicken for breakfast.
Wow.
So, and I love to eat. My family loves to eat, and to me, food it just makes me happy, and I like food. So,
well, culturally, even that, I know at least in my home, my mom, when we have guests over, it's can I give you some more of this? She just constantly serves food, and that's the way, culturally, just how we love people. It's come más, ¿qué más quieres? What else can I get you? But then to the mentality that builds is kind of like, all right, you don't want to say no to all this food coming, but then long term, what does that look like?
Well, long term, like you said, it's good culturally. In our families, food it just makes us happy. It's part of our culture. What we do not have in our cultures is that habit to exercise that food off after we eat it. I remember I used to eat 2 plates for breakfast, 3 plates for lunch. From time to time, I'll go to Chipotle and I will order the burrito with extra of everything, every single topic extra. And I will look at the Chipotle clerk just struggling trying to wrap the burrito up like this. So
yeah.
Yes, what we do not have again is that the habit to exercise.
Right.
We really do not. And when I was 2 years ago, when I was 19, 20, 21, that's really when I started gaining the most weight. Usually I would stay around 190, 195. But that was that period when I gained much more than usually did. So I was around 215 pounds, a little bit more than that, so around there, 215 pounds.
What was your gain weight correlated to? Did it have to do with stress? Was it school? Was it just you didn't have time to exercise? What do you think it was?
I was back in that time. I was enrolled in Montgomery College. I was going full time, 5 classes, enrolled in extracurriculars like the Student Senate. And honestly, my focus in itself was to go to school, get A's, make my parents proud, go in extracurricular activities and succeed in those activities, and that was my focus in life. And I needed food to fuel myself in that respect. Exercise, it wasn't even the focus of my life at all. It wasn't even in the picture. I just wanted to do what I needed to do, and exercise, if I could, from time to time. Sometimes I go play basketball from time to time, but it was inconsistent. I'll just do it for fun, but nothing more than 2 times per week. or sometimes not even once a week.
Okay, so not even in the picture. Now, at what point did you feel like, this has to end? Because some people, get to that point over and over and over and don't actually make the change in their life. And actually, even with the holidays coming up and New Year's resolutions, I mean, it's probably one of the most popular New Year's resolutions, right, to lose weight.
Yeah.
So what made it for you, sort of like that determining, this is over, I'm going to change my life?
Well, the point that really got me, that made me say, okay, I need to start doing something about my weight, was when my pant size increased from 36 to 40. And my belt didn't fit anymore. So at that point, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, wow, okay, I don't like this anymore. You start seeing the rolls over here, like, I love food, and I will eat food. I will eat half a bun of bread, the whole bar bread. I will eat half of that in just one sitting. And then I'll look at myself, just feel guilty. Oh, wow, my pant size increased from 36 to 40. What am I going to do now? It just really got me like, wow. It was the
shock factor.
It was the shock factor
Yeah.
at that point. I need to do something about it. I really need to do something about it.
All right, so then let's talk about your life now. Sort of what is it like?
What is it like? My weekly routine, I go and exercise 4 to 5 times a week now. I completely redesigned my diet. I still eat chicken for breakfast, steak for breakfast, but I try to balance that with more healthy habits throughout the day as well.
Okay.
They go from nutritional habits to just lifestyle habits in itself. I try to balance everything so that way I can also make time to exercise 4 to 5 times a week and eat well.
Cool. Well, and we'll definitely get into more of those details about what, specifically, do you do? What can other people do? So tell me about the importance, the importance of exercising, because it's not only about just changing your habits around what you eat, but for you it started exercising. So how did that go? I mean, you started going to the gym sort of overnight. Most people can't really do that, right? But tell me about that whole experience, just kind of going back, and then how did that feel, and how did you keep going back to the gym?
Okay. One thing that I think is important to mention is that when I talk to people and say, want to come run with me, and they say, I can't even run a mile. I can't even run a mile. I hear that a lot, and of course, you're not going to run a mile. So, exercise in itself, it can be fun, but it cannot be fun. It is what you make, okay? In my case, I was really struck that, oh, wow, I'm wearing size 40 pants at this point. It just really struck me in that sense. I said I need to do something about it. Now, when I said I needed to do something about it, I didn't do it overnight.
Right.
I did sign up for the gym. That's one thing that I did, and I remember being the first time at the gym. It just made me feel great. I went to the gym and I did a couple of weights, and when I left the gym, it made me feel so great. It made me feel so awesome at that point. Like, wow, I feel great. Now I continue going back through the next couple of weeks. I wasn't going as intensely as I am now, 4 or 5 times a week. I was going about 2, 3 times a week. I didn't see any major weight change in the first month.
Did that make you want to give up?
It was certainly disheartening. It was certainly sad that I would go to the gym, I would not lose any weight.
Right.
But then I started thinking, okay, I am not losing weight for a reason. So I have to find that reason. What was the reason? I was still eating fast food. That was one of the main reasons. I was still eating fast food, Wendy's, McDonald's. So I knew I was not helping the case either way. So sometimes I talk to a lot of my friends who are trying to lose weight, and they're not really losing anything. Some family members are not losing anything. But that's because to actually lose weight, you have to look at different factors. You're not going to lose weight if you only focus on abs. Abs, do everyday abs. You're not going to lose weight like that. It encompasses everything. How you live your life. The intensity of your workout combined with what you eat. You're not going to lose weight eating McDonald's every day.
Right.
And you're not going to see changes overnight.
Right, but it does, I have to say that there are changes that can be overnight. I mean, I know people that have cut out, let's say, soda, all soda, and that has made a huge difference. I would say even pounds in a week, certain things that you can cut out. I mean, fast food certainly is one of them. And just in general, one of the things that I was doing some research about and I'm understanding more is processed foods. That, I mean, food that is processed, if you think about it, you're kind of cheating, right? You're not like giving your body the ability to process something and expend that energy processing food. So for example, it's the difference between eating chips versus maybe apples, right? I mean, just something that requires the body a lot more energy to digest versus something that's completely already like, in and out. I mean, right? So those are the things that I think we just lack an understanding about the type of food, like what kind of food do we consume? How is this food going to make me maybe exercise more even while I'm sitting down or while I'm sleeping, right?
And also, it comes to the idea of passion, how much passion you have to actually feel better about yourself. Okay, because exercise, people do exercise depending on a different reason. People want to lose weight depending on the reason. Some people want to do it because they want to look better for the significant other, or just for the other sets in general, just to look better. Some other people will do it because they want to feel better. Now, processed foods, when it comes to managing what you eat, I didn't have a plan. In the beginning, I didn't know anything about exercise, nutritional facts, anything like that. I was just going with it. You were like,
I gotta go back to the gym, and that's it.
Yeah, and I saw that I needed to make some changes. So I started looking. I started doing my own personal research about what was good for the body, what was good for losing weight, what exercises were more beneficial, what machines in the gym are better than the others. So throughout the time, I make significant small changes, small steps over and over time. Processed foods, I didn't really cut out processed foods completely until last year. So it took me about a year to get there. But as long as you do it and you take small steps towards achieving that, you're gonna get there. You're not gonna change your life completely over time. Some people are able to do it. Most of us, personally, I cannot do that. So if you do it over time, small, eventually you're going to develop a habit for the long term.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're advocating, is that this isn't something that, if you want to lose weight, you have to get back into the gym tomorrow and suddenly not eat everything that you love. We're talking about making very small changes to your life that become suddenly how you live, and the choices that you make become the things that you want. So we're going to continue talking about this. I know Marcos has made a lot of changes over the last 2 years. We've seen an enormous difference in his lifestyle and how he looks, how he feels. So he wants to share this with you. So stick with us. Ya regresamos.
What gets you moving?
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
And that's a slam dunk.
Whether you like to shoot hoops,
kick the soccer ball around,
or ride your bike,
moving every day puts you on the offense.
Towards a stronger you.
So be a player.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up, play, and move it your way.
Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's www.letsmove.gov.
We're back here in Generación Latina, and as we are talking about how to build habits, how to build to a lifestyle of wellness, of physical well-being, Marcos Moya has actually some really practical tips that he wants to share with us about exercising. So, Marcos, as you were telling me, so you're back in the gym. You have a very healthy lifestyle, and I believe you ran a marathon recently. So
26.2 miles.
26.2 miles. That is quite an accomplishment. I don't know that I'll ever get to that. But like we were talking about, it's not like you have to start big. You really just have to take very, very small steps. So how do you build a habit?
How do you build a habit? First of all, if you cannot run a mile in the beginning, you're going to start with a quarter of a mile. So how do you build a habit? how much do you want it is the question that I use a lot of the time. How much do you really want to lose weight, and what is your commitment to that? For my own example, I really wanted to lose weight. And the first month, I didn't see any changes. But then, when I started noticing some changes, and I started noticing that I could do things that I couldn't do before, like more weights, or I could run at a higher speed on a treadmill, I started noticing, okay, I can push myself a little bit more. So that's when I began just pushing myself and just trying to see where I could go.
So it's kind of cool because, like, once you begin to reach new heights, that pushes you over in a way. It's kind of like the tipping point. You know, like at first it's really, really hard, but that's where you really kind of begin to, you know, rebuild your body. You know, and so tell me, like, what is the I mean, you go to the gym pretty frequently, right? But we may not always get to go to the gym, or may not even be able to afford it. So what are some things that we can even do at home? Like, what does a typical day for you look like when you don't go to the gym?
Okay. I'll talk about this. Marathon training. For marathon training, I really didn't go to the gym. I will go to the gym once. So for marathon training, what did I do? I'll just put my sneakers, step out of the house, and run around my neighborhood with my phone, tracking how much I was running. So I would just run around my neighborhood for about, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Now for long runs, I'll take about half an hour or 2 hours running. But that was on the weekends. So if you cannot afford to go to a gym, or can't go to the gym, you can go around your neighborhood, walk or run. I sometimes go to the play areas, and on the monkey bars, I just start doing pull-ups in there.
Yep.
So that's some of the things that I do on the parking lots. I start doing sprints back and forth for 15, 20 minutes. The days that I cannot work out like that, what I do, I go to the metro, to DC very often. On the metro, there's some stations that really, the stairs look like they're infinite, like they're going to end.
Yeah.
So what I do in the mechanical stairs, I just walk all the way up. And you start feeling the pain in your legs, and by the time you get halfway there, you're like, oh my goodness, just a little bit more. So I try to incorporate those simple practices in my lifestyle. The days that I do not work out, I take the stairs. I never take the elevator. When I wake up in the morning, I drink water. I don't drink soda. I drink water very often. Water, coffee, and milk. That's basically what I drink. And sometimes juice if it's natural. I don't like anything processed, just because after a while you start seeing that, the changes in your body.
Yep.
It changes in your body. Since I train for marathons now, different kinds of food give you different levels of energy. And that's how it feels sometimes. Sometimes food makes you feel really heavy, just very lethargic, and sometimes food makes you feel very light and very, very energetic. All of a sudden, you can perform better. But that's how I feel. And different bodies perceive food differently.
It's true, but no, I mean, that makes such a huge difference. There's there's a lot that you can research out there called like superfoods, right? And those are awesome. I mean, even something like quinoa, which is something that we grow up with in Latin America in some countries. I mean, something I didn't like, at least when I was little, but now I've come to really appreciate the value. And these are like, frijoles. I mean, just things that are high protein, that are good, that are, very much a part of our Latino nutrition. But we just have to, again, take everything and put it in the right balance, right?
Exactly.
So, all right. So then what about at home? Like, what are some things that I know that we can do?
Okay. So what can you do? And sometimes I tell my family to do this. You can buy gym equipment if you like. Those yoga balls, exercise balls. Those are really good, and they're very inexpensive, like $10, depending on where you go. So you can buy those and exercise with those. Now, if you don't have any gym equipment, you can always go back to your body and just use your body for exercises.
Okay.
For example, push-ups, squats, and jumping jacks are 3 basic exercises that I do in the mornings when I wake up. Maybe not sometimes all 3, but sometimes just one of those exercises. But at least I just do it throughout the day, the days that I do not exercise.
Okay. Do you want to demonstrate for us?
Sure, you want to join me?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so one of the basic exercises that I do, and you don't really need anything other than your body, it's just the squat, okay? So the squat, the different ways to do the squat. You can put your hands over here. You can put them over here. I like to keep them over here so I can keep my upper body straight.
So your back has to be straight.
Your back has to be straight. Your feet, shoulder feel apart. Okay, and then lower your hips and go up. Lower your hips and go up. So I try to do myself 3 sets of 10.
Okay.
So 10 like that for 3 times. Okay. And after doing that, jumping jacks are very good for that.
Very easy, right?
Jumping jacks are very easy. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this, because they're so easy, I personally like to do 3 sets of 20 each time.
Gotcha.
In the beginning, you might just do 3 sets of 10.
Okay. And
then you can increase over time, you know.
Okay, and I know some girls. I know how they are, right? They don't want to sweat. Okay, so maybe you could skip the jumping jacks, but you could do maybe like abs, right? Or
you can do abs
or
if you like, or even push-ups.
Push-ups. Okay, so how do you do a proper push-up?
A proper push-up.
I'll let you take the stage.
Okay. So you can do it like this with your knees on the floor.
It's kind of like easier for girls, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And even for some men as well. And your hands have to be on the side, like shoulder, or maybe a little bit.
Keep your back straight.
And keep your back straight and just lower. Try to keep your chin up and just lower to your chest to the floor. Personally, I like to put my feet like this. And then just lower. 1,
Gotcha.
2, 3.
Okay.
So in the mornings, this is actually a very good exercise. You know, when you roll out of bed, roll back onto the floor and just start doing some push-ups.
Do it.
3 sets of 10.
Tough.
Or you can just decide to just do 1 set of as many as you can do.
Okay.
And after a while, you go on and feel it.
Interesting. Now, it doesn't matter like how you do your push-ups. I know some people go like this, while others kind of keep their elbows closer to themselves and kind of lower like this.
Well, there
there
are different kinds of push-ups that you can do. The way that you put your hands. Some people do it wider like this. Some people even doing like this.
That's crazy.
As long as you keep your core flats.
Okay.
And your back straight, not like this. It should be fine in that respect.
Okay, interesting.
So those are some 3 basic exercises. Anybody can do 5 minutes in the day, in the morning, at night, or both. It really doesn't take that much time just to do that.
Yeah, and you know what's amazing is, again, these are just for us to kind of start building very small, right? Very small steps. I think once you kind of begin to get a bit of a high from these workouts where you feel like, you know, you're sore, but you know it's good, right? You know you're building muscle. Then you begin to think beyond that, like, well, okay, maybe I can start going back to the gym, you know, or maybe I can take that half-mile run or even a mile run, and maybe a sprint in between, right? So, so now, what is it? Tell me about the experience of how do you push yourself to your limit? How do you know your limit? Because I know a lot of kids also just can tend to extend themselves beyond what they should do. So how do you know to keep yourself safe?
Okay, how do you keep yourself safe? If it starts to feel uncomfortable, then watch out. That's what I think. When I'm running and I start feeling some unusual discomfort in some part of my body, then I start watching out for that. And for example, before the marathon, 2 weeks before the marathon, I had an injury in my Achilles tendon. I was running a half marathon, and around mile 7, it started hurting, but I said, no, I'm not giving up, not giving up. And even though it was very discomforting after a while, it just really hurt. So I couldn't train for a week, the week before the marathon.
Wow.
So, I mean, if it starts feeling a little discomfort, it starts hurting, then you should stop in that way. Now, when it comes to limits, I like to believe we have no limits. Okay, I really like to believe that. But at the same time, if you have never run in your life, you're probably not going to do 26.2 miles by tomorrow.
Right.
Or 2 miles if you have never run in your life. Okay. So we have to take the small steps. And what's most important, we should never be discouraged. Yes, there are going to be times when really we go and exercise, we just have a really bad exercise. we come back home, we shouldn't even have gone exercise. That's how we feel sometimes. That's how I felt sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just awful. You feel weak. You couldn't do anything. It's awful. You're gonna have those days, but that's fine. Sometimes your body's just tired and it's not gonna be able to perform as you want. But as you continue trying, eventually you're gonna develop that that level
Yep.
of fitness in which you're gonna be able to do more and more and more and more. But everything it comes with small steps, small changes in your life.
Exactly.
If you've never been a person to change your life completely, all of a sudden you're probably not gonna start now. So, just small changes
Little
will
things.
do it.
Yeah, and also just something to track yourself, right? Keeping yourself accountable, whether it's get a running buddy, right? Or somebody to go to the gym with. Last thing I wanted to ask you, are there any apps that you actually would recommend that have helped you stay fit?
Well, for my marathon training, I was using an app on my phone. It's called Run Keeper. So I would put it on my strap, my phone, activate the app, and as I was running, it would actually measure how far I was running, the time, and the calories burned, and just the time that it would take me per mile, and the speed that I was going to, and the pace that I was going to. Cool. So that's the one app that I've used. Other than that, I haven't been very familiar with other apps to keep my track when it comes to weight training and anything like that. But that's the main one.
And last thing before we go, what is one thing you want our viewers to do even tonight that they can do before they go to bed?
Before they go to bed?
Yep. One challenge.
One challenge?
Yep.
Just get to the floor and see how many push-ups you can do.
Okay.
Challenge yourself. See how many push-ups you can do, or even squats. See how many you can do.
Okay.
Just one set, or as many as you can.
And you're gonna feel it tomorrow.
And you're gonna feel that tomorrow. Based on that, just evaluate. How would you like to do more?
Very simple. Start small. I like it. Thank you, Marcos.
Thank you very much to you.
It's been such a great conversation. I want to take so much of what you said and just kind of put it, for our viewers out there so that they can kind of swallow things little by little, right? So check us out on generacionlatina.org. I'm going to post actually one recipe that we talked about last week, which is the green smoothie. So it should be pretty good. I want you to try it at home and tell me what you think. And don't forget to stick with us. We'll be back next week. And also find us on Facebook and Twitter. So we'll see you soon.